Okay, so we are live now. Welcome to another episode of Entab CampusCare EdTalks, an exclusive platform where we invite pioneers from the education industry to share their years of experience and insights with us. So, before moving forward, let me introduce you to Entab. With an experience of more than 2 decades, Entab has been associated with over 1,500 schools across India, evolving them to become new age digital campuses by providing them mature and futuristic ERP, CRM, and mobile apps. In today's session, we'll discuss about how should students focus on independent learning. We'll also understand that how can internet facilitate independent learning, and even then how can teachers monitor students on what information they access to. We will also learn that how can independent learning encourage collaboration between students. So let's begin by introducing our panelists for today. Please welcome Ms. Swati Roy, the principal of Shaishav School, Vadodara, Gujarat. In her educational journey of more than 36 years, ma'am has been awarded by the Honorable Minister Smriti Irani. So, Swati ma'am, welcome to the show. Next up, we have Dr. Mrunali, the Chief of Academics Pan India and Principal Global Discovery School, Vadodara, Gujarat. For her contribution to the field of education, ma'am has been awarded with Dronacharya Award. Ma'am specializes in educator training, concept development, and senior management. So, welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving forward, so, ma'am, the audience wants to know that we have always been dependent on our teachers for starting a new concept or lessons. So, ma'am, how can technology be really helpful in promoting independent learning? As students can now find videos, blogs, research papers, or any concept that might even come in the next session.
Yeah, so I'd like to say that today's generation has the information at their fingertip. They can, on the search engine, go and find out what is a recent topic that is going to come in the unit, and they can have all the information at their fingertips.
Right.
But that eases their learning, and they can have it on their own pace, own time, and they can have a self-learning module for themselves designed on their own.
Right, right. So, moving forward, so ma'am, independent learning can also, as we know that independent learning can also mislead students to unreliable resources and half information. So ma'am, how can teachers still monitor students while encouraging them for independent learning?
I believe educators or teachers play a very important and key role in learners' development. And monitoring what content they are consuming is very crucial. I believe educators need to curate the content and publish on their own. That would help the learners to become more, age appropriate, the level of difficulty what they are having in their syllabus. Everything can be mapped with help of educators.
Right. Absolutely right, ma'am. So, Mrinali ma'am, I suppose Swati ma'am got disconnected. So, we'll just continue. Okay. So, ma'am, moving on, one of the most important step towards independent learning is self-assessment, right? So, how can students self-assess themselves?
Mm, I feel that the student who is capable, who is able to accurately learn and effectively assess himself or herself, whether the concept has been understood, not understood, is there a deficiency, then such learner can be called as an independent learner. And here, self self-evaluation becomes a key role where the learner has to become more independent and should meet the learning objectives. But here the student must also consult the or take advice, take feedback from educators about the assessment that is happening. And then the process has to be evaluation. It can be form of a self-evaluation in terms of quiz, contest, or MCQs, HOTS, based on the learning objective. And then the student can go to a revise, recap session, and then enable the whole complete chain of attaining the learning objectives.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are having Swati ma'am with us. Okay. So Swati ma'am, I would the audience wants to know that that independent learning can also, as we know that independent learning can also mislead students to unreliable sources and half information. So Swati ma'am, how can teachers still monitor students while encouraging them for independent learning?
See, the teacher has to continuously assess the children. The teacher has to have techniques to keep to the topic so that the children don't go astray away from what the topic is, whatever she's discussing. That way is one way to be firm and to be able to hold the attention of the child to the given topic. Now, any kind of learning has its different fallouts also. The very fact you can read and write, you have the freedom to read and write any kind of literature. All right. So how far will, sometimes not so very good content children pick up, decide to read for themselves. The net is also, the technological system is also one such avenue where as the children mature, positive reinforcement is given from homes, from school. The teachers motivate the children to keep on track and to focus on the given assignments, what they need to, the kind of transfer of learning that needs to happen for the child. The children should be built up. They should be nurtured areas that is best for their self growth and to achieve the goals that they are striving to achieve.
Right, right.
That way, you can keep a track of you can encourage the children to be on the right track and groove, and maybe the teachers can even do a little bit of research and give to the children different avenues where the children will find interest, that will hold their attention so that they don't go astray. There is no mishap in this journey of learning via technology.
Absolutely right, ma'am. So, Swati ma'am, one of the most important step towards independent learning is self-assessment, as we all know.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
ma'am, how can students self-assess themselves?
Self-assessment is a very big tool which perhaps has been used for a rather long time, and yet we haven't independently categorized it. The moment you study, you do, the moment you're taking in, absorbing everything, learn from your textual material, from the projects you're doing, everything is actually being assessed by you, and you're assessing, you're gauging how much you're able to absorb what your attention is holding. And then there are ways and methodologies of trying to self-assess. Today's present educational plan and program is encouraging the child to self-assess, because only that's the way to have matured, independent, creatively thinking children who are able to assess how much they have been able to absorb, and do they need to do some more, break up, the kind of levels of comfort they will get into in their journey, in this educational journey. So they need to access. different methods and tools to understand how much of the learning they have been able to imbibe. And to this assessment, they can, measure and keep little tools and cards and rubrics and files to understand, and cards, once a learning is over, they can dispose of those cards saying that I have already achieved the parameters I need to know. There are very, very many ways how a child can self-assess. Right. And it matures the child to be, checking out for himself, making more reflective, gives him a feedback. He has directives, what he wants to achieve, and he works in a formative way towards achieving those directives. And then he reflects the kinesthetics of it all. He'll have to then, whatever his learning is, then he'll have to imbibe all of it, roll it up all together, and deliver the final learning that he has gone through.
Absolutely right, ma'am. So yeah, self-assessment is very important. मतलब हमें पता होना चाहिए हम कहाँ गलत जा रहे हैं, हमारी स्ट्रेंथ्स क्या है, हमारी वीकनेस क्या है. अग्री, वी हैव टीचर्स, वी हैव मेंटर्स, वी हैव गाइड्स हु कैन टेल अस कि अच्छा ठीक है तुम यहाँ गलत जा रहे हो, ये गलत है, तुम इसको ऐसे सही कर सकते हो, राइट. बट जब तक वो चीज हमें खुद से रियलाइज नहीं होती कि अच्छा आई एम गोइंग हियर रॉन्ग, सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन नहीं होती, तब तक देयर इज नो पॉइंट, राइट. सो या, मूविंग फॉरवर्ड. So Mrunali ma'am, independent learning also increases with the collaboration. Like when students are given a problem, they brainstorm, research, and find their unique ways to solve it. So what are your viewpoints on the same?
Well, collaborative learning has a lot of benefits. Children collaborate in projects, in group activities, and try to do a problem solving, which enhances and develops their higher order thinking skills. It also develops their communication, their self-management, and also how to deal in a group, how they are dealing with the other students in the group who have different mindset or who have different approach towards the same problem solving situation. And at times it develops leadership skills in the children. And yes, the retention here improves a lot. Retention in the sense when I am a student who is dealing with a problem and we come up together with a solution, I will always remember that, this was the process, this is how we brainstorm. So the retention of the concept remains, and there's a responsibility that is developed in a child to, agree to one common solution. And definitely it prepares students for real life situation when they will go out in the market, work in an organization. Right. So it helps them, or you can say prepares them how to deal with their colleagues, how to deal with their, team, and develop all this collaborative learning benefits in a child. And these skills are developed with a collaborative learning.
Right. Beautifully said, ma'am. So moving on to Swati ma'am, what is your takeaway on this?
On collaborative learning?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a lot of positivity, effective and long-time learning in collaborative style or method of learning. There are different techniques to it. There's the jigsaw, where a project is given to many children, and each child is part of the jigsaw. When they all come together, the entire picture is then framed. Then there is peer sharing of information and knowledge. Also, a lot of the children are not attuned to brainstorming. There's also something called brain writing. When you're doing studying together, there's a lot of mental retention which takes learning to a different level and a very long way, a long journey of that kind of memory is retained with the children. Different kind of group activities, actually, when children, because we are human beings, we have to survive in a society, we have to look after each other, accept each other's perceptions, agilities, and intellects, and different persona all put together is where then we have to come on top with our learnings. So, collaborative learning process is also something which, again, the education departments are pushing a lot, because that is also the need of the hour.
Right.
It's much, much sorted and much, much required for everybody to be together and to grow together, because technology is moving from one genre to a different genre and at great speed, mammoth speed. So individualistically, you cannot, piece out moments and little bits of learning. It all has to be in a larger picture with a lot of people together.
Right, ma'am. Because what happens when you grow up, you'll work in corporates. Then you have
Absolutely.
you have a team. Then you have to work as a team, not as an individual. So starting
And
se hi
people
and
and
start
people won't start teaching you anew in the corporate. So
right,
you'll have to teach yourself to imbibe the new styles of working. Otherwise, you will get left out being somebody who's not smart enough, who cannot move with times. So this learning of self-teaching and self-learning has to come right from the tender years of a human being's growth. Right from infancy, the parents have to take care that the child is given little tasks to, do at home. All that adds to his value of learning, which step by step only grows.
Yes, ma'am. That's why we used to have group projects in schools. We have group projects and assignments, presentations. Right?
True that,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
That
yeah.
still goes on, and there's a lot of peer activities. Even peer is given to, take kind of look up each other's scores.
Right.
They'll correct you. They will, give you that little nudge to go forward. All that is, part of a huge collaborative group of studying methodologies, which is being very, very welcomed into the system.
Yes, ma'am. So what happened, like when I was in my school, so we had this class test and class assessments, right? तो उसमें क्या होता था कि हम वी यूज टू पहले हमें सपोज आधा घंटा दिया गया कि तुम्हें आधे घंटे में तुम्हें ये फिल आउट करना है पेपर अपना देन क्या होता था कि वो तुम्हारा जो क्वेश्चन पेपर है ना आंसर शीट वो हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते थे मतलब दूसरे बच्चे को कि तुम्हारा किसी और के पास और वो आगे
बिल्कुल
पीछे नहीं होना चाहिए वो किसी दूसरे बच्चे के पास जो बहुत दूर बैठा है ना उसके पास होना चाहिए
Right.
और वैसे करके हम मार्किंग करते थे फिर
वो अभी भी चल रहा है और चलेगा भी, because there is a learning process in that also.
Yes.
मैं कितनी prepared थी मेरे पेपर लिखने के लिए, I'll be able to gauge the paper I'm correcting based on my knowledge. How am I able to correct a peer's paper?
Peer assessment.
And where has that peer gone wrong? So, yeah, ma'am, you were saying?
Yeah, peer assessment.
Very much on, very much on.
Okay, so Brunali ma'am and Swati ma'am, it was a great session with both of you. It was great having you with us. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us for the session. And looking forward for more fruitful sessions with Brunali ma'am and Swati ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And for all the viewers who are watching us, if you haven't subscribed our channel yet, so do subscribe our channel for regular updates. Do click on that subscribe button for the regular updates. So till then, stay happy, stay safe. Bye bye. Thank you.